Everybody to our grand finals as we get into this best of 5 ESL Open Cup Europe final. In the top right hand side it is Reynor, our red Zerg player, and down in the bottom left our blue Terran is Clem. It's one of those finals we love to have. It's always a lot of fun. Let's hope it's a great one. Watching this on YouTube, I've been making a real effort to really say this at the start of a lot of videos lately, but it really does help. Reminding you all to hit the like button or to consider subscribing to the channel. It has actually really reinvigorated the YouTube a little bit. So I'm going to keep on doing it because it really does make a difference. I appreciate it gets repetitive, me saying this at the start of videos, but like I say, it makes a genuine difference and it helps the videos to get more views, and that obviously just helps us out a whole bunch and makes the whole YouTube thing continue to be worthwhile, because there was a point in the last couple months where I was really kind of thinking about stopping doing YouTube stuff because it was really kind of depressing watching it just drop off and drop off and drop off. So, hit like, hit subscribe if you enjoy the video. And with that, let's get into this TVZ and sink our teeth in deep and see what we're going to get for this series. Should be a good one. Looking forward to it. Think we should be able to have a good time in this TVZ. It's, like I say, always a matchup that's a lot of fun. It's a series that always gives usually some explosive games, even if it's a one-sided scoreline. There's very rarely one-sided maps multiple times in a row, you know? And thank you so much, IGN Dowd, for the Prime sub. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. This is going to be seeing a Depot going down. A Reaper is going to be heading out across the map to get things started up. And that's going to be how things begin here in this best of 5. Nothing too wild. Reynor already just playing Hatchery first, playing very different. We saw him play against Bjorn earlier in this cup. It feels like a lifetime ago now. But we saw him playing against Bjorn earlier in this cup, and he really played a... I'd say he played like a cool series, right? Like, it was neat. It was fun. It was a lot of kind of pool first, roach aggression. He really got pretty feisty. So, yeah, kind of expecting this to be a little bit more kind of a chilled out series out of Reynor, and a bit more of a kind of just more standard games, especially throughout the series. Maybe we mix it up once or so. Maybe if it gets 5 games, we mix it up twice, but he's not going to be doing it every game like he did against Bjorn, where he just wanted to be super safe against a proxy Rex. He knew the ping was on his side, and he really played around that ping and being on his side, and that was quite apparent. We've seen a Reaper escaping away to the top, just having a little bit of a peek there. Just trying to see what's happening. As otherwise, we've got our link speed is just continuing through at the moment. And yeah, starport building up as well from Clem, so just getting that up and rolling. The Reaper will hop into the main base, the few links come through, and just going to push that Reaper back onto the hop-up spot, and then back around elsewhere. So nothing too crazy yet. Reaper not really allowed in. Reynor really talked about recently, kind of tidying up his early game, being that guy that once again just does not take a drone of damage in the early game, just gets off to a strong start, and just using that to really put himself in very comfortable positions in the TVZ matchup. So we've been seeing a lot of that as of late. And it's just going to be seeing... yeah, he did actually turn around against Clem recently as well. He won a couple series in a row against him, I believe, in the... what did he play him in? I think he played him in the Pig Cup, and he also played in the WardiTV Cup finals. I don't know if they played again before after that, but I believe he won both of those. He won in the WardiTV Cup 4-0. It was still a cool match. There was still some epic games, but that was definitely Clem saying as well they needed to figure out the new maps a little bit, but seemingly hadn't done that the last time they played, which was just a couple days ago as well. As these couple Hellions go down, there are Hellions on the third base as well as this Reaper gets active, and they will go for some drones. Oh, the Lings catch a Hellion. Just making you think twice. Man, I really thought he was going to get a few drones there, but obviously the Lings getting the catch, and then Clem decides just to back it up and not commit. I thought that was going to be something special, and it just wasn't quite that in the end, was it? Unfortunately. Alright, well, we continue onwards. We get this going with Liberated now to harass. Pretty standard build from Clem. He really does love this style. Just going into that kind of Hellion Liberated, then a faster stim pack. And obviously has 3 CC behind this. He's actually going to be losing this Liberator here. That's a mistake. He sieged up too far away. That's actually very unlike him. He's usually so good at keeping his units alive. Is this maybe the chance, though? Because now he's found himself at the Hellions into the natural. He backs away. He doesn't believe there's no Zerglings here, but there aren't any. Reynor didn't rebuild any. And Clem can't quite believe it. You can see he didn't want to believe it and go up the ramp at first, so he backed away a couple times. Transfusion actually just saved a drone as well, by the way, so that was pretty clutch. 12 workers. Can we get to 14? Easily. Oh, well, 14 workers at the end of it all makes it... Does it make it all worthwhile? 15 workers total? I think it does. You got 15 lings. Reynor will have to do a lot of rebuilding here. The Liberator really sieged up in a position that felt like it didn't make sense, but then Clem at least took advantage of it. I don't know whether it was a mistake. I don't know if he wanted it there to keep the Queens there, that the Hellions could make a move. Like I said, it almost felt like Clem couldn't believe his luck, because he backed away from the high ground expecting lings, and he was like, wait, no lings? He didn't rebuild any units? And he really took full advantage of that in the immediate moment. Stellar stuff as Clem takes that watchtower. We'll hold out there for a few moments now, and we'll just keep that position as we see a couple of group tumors on the way down. Melee upgrades coming through. Baneling Nest setting up. 5 extractors on the way as Reynor gets ready for his mid-game. Of course, just having to delay a lot of that because he's had to spend some time rebuilding drones, and that maybe gives Clem a chance to do something when he hits his first 1-1 timing. Definitely gives Clem a better chance than he would have had otherwise, so let's see exactly how that plays out. And let's see if Clem can take advantage of these early worker kills. Upgrades will be finishing around the same time. Bane speed's going to be a long way off for Reynor, as he drops down the Hydra Den as well, so has been enjoying the Ling Bane Hydra composition on this map. And Clem already starting that push to the left-hand side. His medevacs aren't even there yet. He's already across the map, so really wants to start getting into position, taking advantage. Getting rid of a few creep tumors to start, obviously holding the watchtower here. Looks like he might go around the left-hand side and siege up on that 4th base. That's not the usual 4th base, really. Usually you take the base to the right, and you can just see lack of creep on this direction. It's kind of weird that Reynor has this base, because Clem can kind of move into that position pretty easily right away. It's going to be seeing our Ling Bane coming back around the top. You see a few Marines just going to stem forward, going for the hatchery. A little bit of back and forth. Queen's taking a little bit of damage. Marines moving through again. Just going to move up to the top side and just straight up trading with Queens. Where are the Banelings? I mean, again, no Bane speed. He doesn't want to show them too quickly. We're going to start running out of transfusions here. Clem stims again. I think we are out of transfusions. Goodbye, 4th base. No! Last second transfuse. We come back in. We kill a Queen. Now the tank's going to start dealing some damage. Needs to target fire some Banelings down. Clem's Marines are low HP. And what a wait for Reynor. Waited until the last moment, just saves the hatchery. He even had me convinced that it was going to die. Saves the hatchery, keeps Clem there as long as possible, and finally overwhelms him at the last moment. Clem even losing these last few Marines, not picking them up, but Reynor supply blocked as he's taking damage on the right side. Creep spread is going down, and Clem is pushing through and just keeping Reynor pinned back. I mean, I really thought Reynor was going to be fighting here with no 4th bases. Wouldn't mind unburrows, reburrows. Reynor needs to try and find a split away. It does splash onto the Marines. We're going to target fire some Banelings, lift up, go to the main. Clem's next attack probably wants to focus to the upper left again, get back onto that position that has limited creep spread, and work from there as this medevac takes a chance to heal the Marines just a little bit, but can't heal enough of them soon enough. And Clem, yeah, has not been the fastest onto some of his drops so far in this first game of the series. He needs to just stay on top of that, because otherwise you can run into a lot of trouble very quickly. Widowmine goes off. Then pushing on the right-hand side is going to get a few more Zerglings. Oh, Widowmine shot is good as well. As we come through, lifting up another couple of units, figuring out where we're going to go. Take the Marines out toward the center. And the Widowmine's just trying to figure out again where exactly they're going to head to. Just going to try and drop one on the ramp. He's actually going to get a Hydra. That's a good trade, getting a Hydra. Oh, did he unburrow that mine? He thought he could save it? That was a misplay. Loses the medevac. Clem is not 100% on his micro here. He's made a few errors so far. You know, he's already made a couple of mistakes. He's already made a couple little micro errors you just don't usually expect fully out of Clem. Ling Bane coming through. The Widowmines continue forward. They're all going to get blown up right away. I'm just going to be seeing the Bioforce still stemming up and that group spread being taken down. Here come the rest of these Banelings moving through here, trying to get in on top. Takes down a Widow Mine already. Tank taking a shot as well. And the Marines still just continue to take steps forward to try and work their way through this army. The Widow Mine going off and the Bioforce coming through once more. It feels as though Reynor at the moment, down on army supply, a lot of the Hydra's just fighting, and honestly a lot of his Banes that do get to the front just get targeted down right away. He's now starting to break through this though, but running out of creep spread to work with. He's going to take the fight anyway. Clem just has reinforcements showing up, and that's going to mean that Reynor is too far forward. And Clem is able to keep on moving through. Scan comes down. Creep spread is being killed. There's really not enough Banelings here. In fact, that was the last Baneling until the rest of them are done morphing, so Clem can just keep it going. Widowmine shot is good. The Queens are dropping. And now these Banes are not going to have any real support, so how do you really deal with this? There's a tank that's going to shoot at them. Clem's just going to run, let the Widowmine do some work, re-engages in, has the split, has the concave. Clem has the numbers. Overruns. Wasn't the cleanest game from Clem. I do stand by saying he made a couple mistakes, a couple micro errors, but he really did keep the momentum up in this game. Game 2 will be on Hardwire, as in the bottom left, down one map. From Clash, our red Zerg player is Reynor. Top right, Blue Terran. Team Liquid's Clem. Get into map number 2, see how this one's gonna go. I also think it's cool to see Clem, who is able to really kind of, when he gets that momentum, when he sees that opportunity, he's so good at just kind of taking it home and just making sure it is absolutely delivered on, right? He's really, really good at it. Hatch, gas, and pool coming down from Reynor here again. No early game pool, so nothing. I mean, that shouldn't be a surprise per se. I'm just commenting on it mostly because of how he did it against Beyond earlier multiple times. That was definitely a factor. Reaper of Clem is just on the way in and drop down a command center, killed the cleaning bot with the SCV. Why did Reynor make Hydras? Hydras are pretty good at the moment, man. Lingbane Hydra is becoming a prevalent style again in the meta. I know a lot of people have been playing Lingbane, then kind of skipping through the Lurker, but Terran's really kind of got a handle on that, and I think the Lingbane Hydra is something which can slow a lot of the momentum of Terrans down, especially someone like Clem who likes to push and push and push. Hydras are usually really good against that. In this situation, Clem got a bit too much done early. I still think those early drone kills were fantastic, and obviously just had a lot of consistent kills, which went very well for him. But don't be hating on Hydras, because Hydras are a very, very good unit in ZvT. And if they weren't, the top level players in the world would not be making them. Alright, link speed's on the way up. And I'm just gonna see Clem again. Fast 3cc. I still go back to that Liberator. I'd love to ask Clem, like, was that Liberator that died to those few queens, was it meant to die to them? Was it meant to be like the distraction and get the Hellions in? I really think it was just a happy accident that it died, but it kept the queens out of the way for the Hellions to get in, and then the Hellions found no lings in place. Because like I say, he looked like he was afraid of there being lings, so he didn't know there was no lings. In which case, why would you give up the Liberator? If you see lings, then you just have to back away. Right? So I think it was a happy accident that it kind of turned out as it did. Of Hellions still just coming through, and the link speed is going to be finishing up shortly. As mentioned before, we know where this game goes for the first few moments, so we kind of wait to see where the differences are going to come from. We're going to start seeing where this game changes up a little bit. Clem opens one Banshee. We'll see if he wants to invest into Cloak. Obviously, with this build, you don't have a lot of gas right away. So Cloak is a little delayed, just to start as soon as the starport hits the tech lab, but it does start now. So it looks like we will just get a couple of Banshees up. It does feel like Clem's kind of reverted back to a lot of the Banshee stuff. He took some steps away from Banshee styles. Yeah, he took some steps away from Banshee styles in a world where, you know, he was really using them to great effect to make sure a lot of the roach damage never happened. He could obviously leverage advantages by doing good damage early. The Italians try to get by with the Reaper Grenade, but obviously there are Lings in wait. And now the Italians in trouble. Grabs a second one. The Reaper in trouble too. Happening in the top side. That is just going to be a decent little grab from Reynor. Gets a couple Hellions. Doesn't lose anything really. 5 Lings. Removing Hellions removes the map control a little bit, so... Going through and just going to fight the Queens a little bit. Just going to be seeing Queen fighting back. Just going to be seeing our Queen production continuing. First Banshee turned around but doesn't have Cloak yet, so not a surprise it doesn't find much, as we'll just grab a Creep Tumor. Clem doing anything he can to try and slow this down just a little bit here. Evolution Chambers just continuing through, and the Queen's able to push the Hellions back once again. Reynor's really fast on those upgrades. 1-1 melee upgrades just on instantly. Just a couple seconds before the 1-1 of the Terran. Again, this just means you're going to be on even upgrades and you're going to be on a later bailing speed. This is also something that's become a bit more common again, taking the 1-1 early and delaying the lair. And that's maybe why these Banshee openings have become more prevalent again, because without the early lair, there's no Overseers, and if there's no Overseers, the Banshees have more options, more openings to deal damage and to find damage and to make, you know, just make use of themselves. So yeah, it's maybe again that kind of just shifting circle of the meta, right? The wheel turns around and get kind of back to where we begun almost. The meta keeps on shifting. The Spore moves forward here. Clem knows his range, and just look at that, just sits out of it and tries to get a Queen. Gonna go for the other one. I mean, the Queen that just got forced back still has a transfusion. That's Clem. Again, been pretty well defended against so far. He's not killed much, only a single drone. And that is the sort of, you know, opening that Reynor's looking for when he's playing against Clem. That's the kind of opening that Reynor talks about needing when you play against Clem, because Clem is just so freaking good at kind of dealing damage and capitalizing on damage dealt. If you can stop it early and get ahead, you can have a good time. No Baneling Nest yet from Reynor. Is that a little late? You guys think the Baneling Nest starting up after the Les finishes a little late? I think it might be. As Clem is going to be having his 1-1 finish soon. His 2-2 can start. Reynor's going to drop down the Hydralisk Den for a second game in a row. Again, nice quick Hydra Den too. Not one of those Hydra Dens that comes in, you know, around the 10-minute marker because you're about to go up into Hive Tech and switch into Lurkers. This is a Hydra Den to really get a Hydra count rolling with and to really play those Hydras into this mid-game. So, same as what we just saw in that regard. 5 Banes now morphing. We need to start Baneling speed, Reynor. That's an 80-second upgrade, so we're already talking about 1:20 where you are not having Baneling speed from right now. And obviously that extends for every second that you don't start it from right now, and that is genuinely a problem. We know Clem's micro can be top tier. No reason to give him extra moments and extra chances to just micro well against you, right? Love the Hellions being left at home. Reynor's not being counter-attacking a lot. Maybe kind Clem's decision to kind of leave units back, as that was an attempted snipe on the Overseer. Widowmine initially goes off on a Queen. That's not really ideal either, as we then unburrow this Widowmine. I feel like he wanted to save that, but then he never had the medevac space. I felt like that was a little bit kind of flustered of a run away from Clem, as Reynor is floating a few minerals. And look at what he's got in the unit tab. He only has 3 lavas, so might want to get an additional hatchery. He is building a 5th hatchery now. Would it be so bad to take a macro hatch as well? So he's building a 6th hatchery now. He's actually going up to 6 bases. And I guess 5 in the macro hatch as usual, so just taking 6 has a similar effect. Widowmine does get burrowed up over here. As Clem is also pushing around the left-hand side again. So far has been yet to really find a lot of damage. He does get a couple of Queens this time. On the left-hand side, he probably will find himself a base, but... Well, actually, that's a big deal, right? Because it's not just about the base being mined from, because I don't think Reynor needs to mine from it, per se. But it is kind of that situation of if you lose this base, then, again, you're maybe less lava in... have less lava in play. And maybe that's the problem, is Reynor goes up to 98 drones at the moment. That's a hell of a lot of drones, guys. There's a lot of economy, as Clem is maxed out as well. He's adding additional racks as he gets to his 4th base. That's morphing into a planetary as we speak. These Marines in the main just not being dealt with at all. Reynor finally going to have bailing speed in the next 15-20 seconds or so. As this bailing was getting dangerously close. Clem's killed 5 drones during this. He's still pushing into the middle of the map as well. He's going to be clearing out a few more creep tumors. He will find some of the morphing banes here, but this is a nice catch from Reynor, stopping these medevacs. And that's actually going to be a couple of kills right there as now Clem falls back. Good target fire so far on the banes. That can surely only last so long. As Clem loses a full medevac there as well, and suddenly Clem's dropped down 30 supply. In quick succession, just losing a few drops in a row. And you can't rebuild from all of that right away. As Reynor wants to open up this set of rocks and open up the pathway into Clem's base, into dealing some further damage in this game. And Banshees don't last long at all. They get annihilated. Are you just going to run for this? You got to bust through the depots. That's an expense, right? And even then, you're only going to bust through a couple, so it's a choke point. Widowmine trails into the Zerg army, so it's a good connection. The second armor upgrade is going to be coming through as well as that Biounts continue in. Here comes the Ling Bane continuing through as well. Connecting in, the Marines stemming backwards. Just going to be seeing this entire army falling back for a moment or two. The Ling Bane Hydra Force trying to decide what it wants to get up to here. As the Marines will just lift up. They're going to go floating away off to the far left-hand side. Two Widowmines are going to get burrowed as a couple of Marines get hit. Just coming back around. Lings, Banes, Hydra still coming through. Just going to be seeing another Widowmine shot going off. Widowmines are going to be split against right now. I feel as though Clem is not going to have much fun with these Widowmines, and that means that Reynor's going to come through, clean them out. Counterattack on the bottom left is being cleaned up as well. Clem losing a chunk of Marines as Banelings connect. And Reynor is just taking the map right now here on Hardwire. I feel like this map, the last couple of times I've seen it, I feel like Terrans have really struggled to do much on this map. I feel like this map might become one of the real kind of... Because Zergs have like choices of bases, they've got a lot of bases. I really feel like Zergs have been enjoying this map a lot. I feel like this is like low-key a very good Zerg map. Be interested to see how that continues to develop as we learn about the maps more. Reynor right now going to have to back away with these few Hydralisks. As Clem does chase him down. I mean, just runs by up here, immediately kills off a planetary fortress, so that goes down. SCVs are dropping. And there's another base here that can go down as well. Maybe stop that replacement coming through as we do see the Lingbane Hydra continuing forward, trying to pick away at the Bio Army. Widowmine setting up a few Banelings going to finish. They are going to move forward. They are going to aim for that army as we're going to see a couple of the Queens being picked away at. Hydra's continuing through. 12 drones, so 12 SCVs being picked away at. More Banes is continuing into this, and Hydra's continue forward. I mean, this is a fight that Reynor can just keep on brute forcing because of those Hydras. Still, Widowmine's just a field of them over there. A sea of Widowmines almost, as Clem did get this 5th base up, and that will act as his 4th for the moment until he gets a replacement to the top side. I think the one main thing here is just how comfortably Reynor is now getting to lurkers. Right? From Reynor's point of view right now, he's just like, oh, cool. I'm on lurkers now. Isn't that nice? Yes, it's absolutely brilliant as we do see a few of these Marines getting taken down. Hydra's going to attack through. A couple of depots being picked away at. And just going to be seeing our SCVs going down as well. Sunstaff being picked away at. 16 SCVs going down. Spire Army just going to pick away at the hatchery. So doing some good damage there at the moment. 18 SCVs dying. I mean, it just feels as though Reynor's killing off so many bases, while Clem is making a push, and a sizable one at that. It feels like his big bases are becoming so much more scarce than Reynor's, and Reynor now has lurkers up, which means that he is going to be able to start turning these attacks around defensively with lurkers. And that's going to be a problem too. These Lurkers trying to get forward here. They do have seismic spines, but no adaptive talons. Lynx from the other side. This ain't a pretty fight from Reynor. He's honestly losing a lot, and now Lurkers are going down as they burrow. Have they just about done enough, though? These few bio units are running out of health, and the medevacs can't keep them afloat. And now the medevacs have to try and float them out of their evacuation time. But, well, I think enough was already done. And Clem really does seem to be in a little bit of a spot of bother right now. I mean, he has, what, like 3 bases, and one of them's in, like, a really far forward place compared to everywhere else. It's getting awkward. He's floating an orbital to the top left corner as well. The only thing I'd say for Reynor is he's kind of missing the 33 upgrades. It's kind of noticeable that the Lings just aren't doing that much in some of these fights. So that is noticeable. No adrenal glands either, so he got +3 carapace. +2 missiles, but I would have loved to see, like I say, adrenal glands and just another melee upgrade eventually, maybe after +2 missiles. I know he's going to rely a lot on the Lurkers for the damage, but it does feel like these Lings that are being made just aren't really, sufficient at doing much at the moment, as Clem does kill the bottom right base as well. Over time here, Reynor's been reduced down to 4 bases, so if Clem was somehow able to get up to an army that can trade effectively one time and maybe wipe out an army, Reynor's not going to have the best of rebuilds available to him. It's not like he's been completely dominant in this game. He has been taking his fair share of hits throughout this as well. The burrows and just going to start hitting that planetary. The biostim zing, quick kill. Another Lurker just trying to harass the top left-hand side, and again, that's just something that Reynor's been constantly aiming at all game long, just keeping the bases from mining, making it difficult for Clem. That's a good few SCVs there. They're not mining right now. That's obviously just good damage being done. And Reynor still is almost maxed out, as Clem has 50 SCVs, 75 army compared to 90 and 100. Yeah, I mean, Reynor's now building up a bank as well, and I think he is just going to start making some plays with these Lurkers that are just going to be somewhat game-ending. There's the melee upgrade. Would still love to see adrenal glands. I think that's just an upgrade that's always worth getting once you're on Hive Tech, and I do imagine that is a complete oversight from Reynor more so than a choice. And you can't really get these Lurkers into a fight. It's kind of weird. I think he just doesn't quite have the numbers. Almost has so many drones that he can't quite get enough army up at once. Morphing in a few more Lurkers. It just feels like these Lurkers are showing up and some can just kind of deal with them because there's not the proper support, and then if there's a few Lings, it's just not enough either. Maybe a few Banes to help out. We actually do have a couple of Lurkers that got into position over here now, and just burrowing up, just being annoying. I mean, love this. Just unburrowing, reburrowing out of scan range, right? Just very, very annoying stuff. Just Reynor being as frustrating as possible. Clem's supply is slowly dropping off. He's down at 107, so eventually this game ends, guys, I promise you. And it does end in favor of Reynor. Just Clem is doing anything and everything to postpone that from happening. He doesn't want to accept that reality. But it might be good for him to start thinking about Game 3. As this one, Bane's going to roll into this planetary. That's the only base that's been stable here for a reasonable amount of time, as we actually abduct those ghosts in, but they make a pretty good run to get away. And some snipes coming through. I mean, 40 more Lings instantly rebuilding. They're going to get back over there very quickly. And this should be kind of on its way to wrapping up here soon, right? I mean, I don't want to wish the end of this series upon us, but I kind of want to get into a more exciting game that's a little bit more back and forth again over the, over the one that I'm seeing right now, which in my eyes is very much so done. We are very much so at the end of already. Clem finally agrees, types GG, and it is now 1-1. On the longer Open Cups, as we are about to hit the 6-hour marker here of this event on its own, it is going to be in the bottom right side, tied up 1-1. Our red Zerg player from Clash, it is Reynor. Taking on the blue Terran in the top left-hand corner from Team Liquid. You have Clem. Spell and grab map 3. I imagine Pride of Artaris was the video of Clem. I'm trying to think what you maybe video as Reynor. Not 100% sure. Not gonna lie, 12 hours into the stream, I'm kind of forgetting what the map pool is. We got Glitter and Ashes, Curious Minds, and Blackburn that remain after this, right? So that's 2 maps in the veto. I feel like those are all reasonably okay for Terran to some extent and in different ways. Maybe Reynor vetoes Blackburn. Okay, I don't know actually. Like I say, we're still relatively fresh on this map, bro, right? Couple weeks in. I'm still learning some of the ins and outs, the vetoes that'll come in, etc. The only veto I'm very sure about is that Terrans like to veto Pride of Altaris a lot in TVZ, and that one kind of speaks for itself. I don't think that one is all too crazy or something we should be too, should be hyping up too much, because I think, like we say, it's kind of obvious why. Hopefully moving over, and the SCV is coming in for a bit of fun, as the Reaper is going to be finished up, and Clem not double gassing it up just yet. See if he wants to go for a quick 3cc once again in this series. It's been something he's been fairly consistent with so far. Reaper right across the map, just going to be coming through, and is already a drone kill on the board. Oh, for a little more. Back around, Reaper doing some dodging. Then it goes off, couple of drones going to get bopped. And that Reaper still being chased around, couple queens going for it, so Reaper kind of actually in some trouble. That Reaper is dead. Alright, well, Reaper goes down. I mean, I had some fun in the main base and stuff, but yeah, going down, not so great. As we are going to be seeing the couple of Hellions of Clem making their way out around the bottom right-hand side, so yeah, he's been fairly aggressive with Hellions lately. It definitely feels as though he's been kind of happy to up the ante with the Hellion pressure, and really being a little bit more kind of happy to dive with the Hellions. We saw that being a critical play in game number 1, of course. A few Zergling's going to go running into the natural expansion for a little bit of damage. I mean, the Hellion's out across the map. The Fresh Mule has to go running. Clem saves it, blocks the Lings from getting to it. Good micros the Hellions get here. Yeah, good save on the Mule. Obviously some lost mining time, but better to lose a few seconds of SCV mining than to lose a Mule that has just freshly dropped out of the sky. That would have been really less than ideal, to say the least. Additional racks coming through, and we see, is that just one engineering bay? Okay. You know, I actually didn't quite notice this yet, but no third CC, right? So Clem's really going to up the aggression himself here. And with one engineering bay and 3 racks before third, you're really looking towards, I mean, nigh on a 2-base all-in. It's not quite a 2-base all-in, but it's on its way to being one. So pretty interesting. Aliens coming through, and a couple of Lings getting picked away at. Just seeing the Phelan S coming through. Now they're going to be finishing up, and just going to have our Hellions just trying to see what they can get up to at the moment. As 14 Lings on the way in. A couple of Orvies continuing up right now. A couple of Queens coming in at the moment. Plenty of the usual stuff. Sim's going to be done. That's going to be very aggressive from Clem. Interested to see how Raul Reynor deals with this, because this is the kind of build from Clem I can absolutely imagine just getting out of hand very quickly. If you don't quite micro one part of it right, it just goes completely crazy. He's grabbing Overlord. We're just going to stim straight up here. Banes aren't ready yet. The Lings don't really have anything to show for themselves either. The Hellions are here, so these Lings have to be careful. Splash damage onto those Lings will hurt. The Clem just pulled the trigger too soon. I really felt like these Hellions were going to have a great time, but they never really got a proper set of splash off. They hit the Queens a lot, and then when they finally hit the Lings, it was as the Lings came in for a surround. They needed to kind of kite back and just get a lined up shot in the Zerglings. Then they could have had a very good time. These few Marines will come through, and that is a dead Overlord, so there is something there at least. Just kind of wanted to come back, and there is a run by setting up. Of course, Clem has started a third CC, so for as aggressive as this is initially, he is going to get a later third going at the end of the day, and he will have that moving down fairly soon. It's one of the things Clem did a lot with the 3 base 8 racks. You know, when 3cc 8 racks was a big thing, that all-in was all the rage. Clem did a lot of that, and was one of the few Terran players who would frequently use that as a chance to then just transition into a 4th base. A lot of Terrans would only transition into a 4th when it's like, oh, this is really not working. The Clem would be very quick to give it up and say, oh no, this isn't working so well, I'm just going to back away to a, to a 4th base right now and just kind of, give it the pressure and I'm going to be okay. And this is almost in a similar vein, obviously just with 2 bases instead of 3 to start off with. Clem retargets the Widowmine at the last second there, and that is going to be a Widowmine shot saved from being wasted on a single Zergling. Gonna see a few Marines pulling back around the top side, and gonna go for a couple of Lings. Yeah, I wonder if Clem kind of felt like the first attack didn't do enough for him, so then he's a little bit worried about continuing. He's gonna go on some creep clearing missions now. On the right-hand side, some Marines fighting some Queens as well. Whoa, that was a misplay. And I was gonna say misclick, misplay, whatever. Medevac actually survived. That's almost what I was more amazed about at the end is in the end, the final Widowmine got a really good connection. Now we drop into the main. This is where you get scared, because obviously now as Banelings roll, and if you can only have a couple of Banelings, and you can target fire those down, you're going to have a really good time here. These Banelings are thinking about moving in. Clem lifts up last second, not comfortable to kind of pull off the micro for target fire there, because he's got a counterattack to deal with, so that's distracting him. Absolutely one of the moments where the counterattack of Reynor is going to do more than just damage across the map. It's really going to save him from kind of taking damage over here, because I really think Clem, if with the proper focus, could have absolutely target-fired Banelings here and still been on a rampage in the main base. Now he is back in the main base now. There's still a drop over this side. Widowmine burrowing up, does get killed by a Baneling just before it fires. And in the main, this attack has continued as well. A lot more Banes now, so kind of past the point of just being able to click a few of them down. Clem will click a couple, and then he's going to back away. And there are a bunch of Queens lying in wait over there. The Bane's forcing the 3rd base mineral line to back away too. Fast action around the map at the moment here. As you do see more Marines, Widowmines, Armory, Engineering Bay, all of that continuing through at the moment. Maybe you're going to lose the refinery here at the end. Reynor's being kept on 60 workers. He's also got money he can't spend. Minerals in the bank that's just not going anywhere. So that's a little bit of a shame. There's a few Widowmines in production. A few more Marines coming through. MLA upgrade starting from Reynor. So he's actually down an upgrade during this as well. Clem never got his armory, so isn't ready for 2-2 yet. Of course, he was just on 1 engineering bay for a while, so it's not been long that he's been on 1-1. He only just finished +1 armor recently. That's a dead medevac. No, just survives. Jeez. Some medevacs are getting away by the skin of their teeth at the moment. As Clem keeps the supply advantage and is going to keep pushing down the right side of the map here. 100 to 80 army supply. Widowmines burrowing up, still pushing through. Just going to be seeing those Banelings crash in for the Widowmines. Another Widowmine would like to line up onto the Lingbane. Doesn't quite get the chance. Marine stim in, looking for a Queen kill. Doesn't get it as the transfusions go off. Going to try it again, but there's just so many transfusions available. Reynor finally starts his melee upgrade. I do think that I do think that over time here, it's definitely going to become a little bit of a problem when he's kind of fighting against the 2-2. Because his 2-2 looks as though it's going to be extremely late. Sometimes Widowmines there being dealt with pretty well. Only 1 or so of them got a really decent shot off. Marines pulling back. Queen's giving chase. There's a big army on the right side once again. The Ling Bane crashes into that quickly. I'm just going to fall back. He's got a Widow Mine up that ramp still. Again, a single Zerglin will force it up. That Widow Mine's going to go off. Clem thought it was on cooldown. He just splits away. Oh, Reynor thought it was on cooldown. Clem just split. You guys know what I mean. A couple of Widow Mines go down as the Spore Crawler goes in. My brain's tumbling over itself. He's going to try to drop the main, but there's already Lings here. And Clem again, and low HP medevac getting out of there. These Marines on the right side cleaning up some Ling Bane as well. Damn, hell of a game right now as these few Marines being chased down. The Baneling's trying to reach them. Just going to lift them up in the end as we do have Marines will come in from the south and the north. And those Queens may be in a bit more trouble now. A couple were just off creep. So they were slow to run away. I'm still maintaining a supply lead in this game. And I really think that when 2-2 kicks in, actually maybe just these Queens dying is going to do it as well. When 2-2 kicks in, Clem's just going to steamroll Reynor because a lot of these fights that have been close are going to be nowhere near close anymore. Oh, that time the Widow Mine shot was good as well. Just hit a good chunk of Lings right at the start. I can't talk anymore. Reynor does win the fight in the top right-hand side. And as the Marines come back through, Queen's taking a bit of damage. The hatchery going low, not dead yet. Back and forth. We save what we can. Go to the main. Clem's next reinforcement wave will hit the right-hand side. And now it is 2-2 against 1-1. These are going to be difficult fights for Reynor. The only good news, the medevacs are truly out of energy, so there's basically no healing. Reynor GG's because he sees the army moving in over here and he just can't cope with it. Clem takes the 2-1 lead in the best of 5 final. Let's dive in. Alright, sorry for a little bit of being quiet during the downtime, waiting for the game to go. Like I say, long day. As we have in the top right-hand side is our blue Terran player from Team Liquid. It is Clem. Up against the red Zerg in the bottom left-hand side from Clash, it is Reynor. Fourth map as our Overlord of Reynor starts to head up to the top side. Glitter and Ashes. Large map, a little bit choked up at points. Definitely something to be never aware of here, I guess, in general. Just gonna see our racks coming down, and Overlord of Reynor heading away to the upper right-hand side for the moment, so just moving that along. There's a couple of drones set up, and we rally up into the extractor. I don't think Clem's going to do anything extremely aggressive this game. I would imagine he's probably going to go into something like a just the 3cc again, like maybe the Liberator style, that kind of stuff. That's what I would imagine. So we get this settled down here, ready to go. ZvT comes through, factory setting up. Again, this is underway, and there is our 3cc, so nothing too surprising. Our Reaper is across the map. It's already taking just a little bit of damage early. So let's see what else happens as the Queens and the Lings will go back and forth a little bit. And we get some damage done. Going through, and the drone gets pushed back already, so again, nothing crazy just yet, nothing wild. It's going to be seeing the Reaper just having a little bit of a look, see what it can get up to. Nothing really too wild just yet. Gonna drop a grenade, and Creep Tumor taking some damage. He really wanted to go for it, but the Reaper's just low HP. He can't justify that, so in the end now the Reaper backs up a little bit. A couple of Hellions have been made. Again, it's just going to be that tech lab on the racks. And as the starport finishes, we'll see exactly what the combination turns out to be here. From Clem, we'll see what he wants to end up going into. He only has about... Oh, he's going to go cloak Banshees again. So, I go back to the Banshee opener. Okay, yeah, I can appreciate the Banshees. There are a few Lings over here that are getting rid of a few SCVs. So, a couple of workers already down. Just before Hellions come in to respond. At the same time, Clem says that is an opportunity to maybe get damage done across the map, but not going to be too successful. Reynor looking to shut this down pretty easily. There's a couple of Hellions going down. That Reaper is in some trouble, and this really does look as though it's just going to be dealt with without too many problems here right away. It's going to be a shutdown. And just going to be seeing that cloak coming out, the Banshee coming through, and a few Hellions just going to sit and move through below. Going to come up the ramp and put a bit of pressure on. A couple of Queens continue through, and the Spore Crawlers are building as we have this one Banshee of Clem heading all the way down that bottom side. The few Hellions will make their way around the left. Going to grab a Creep Tumor already. Again, this Banshee through the south does just want to take a turn, and is just going to make its way to the mineral line, try and get something done. Meanwhile, Hellions are still having a reasonable time kind of looking for some creep spread, but obviously they would like to get a little bit more if at all possible, so I have eyes on that to see if anything else changes up. Additional racks coming through, the engineering bays all coming out. Our Hellions are poised around the bottom side, looking to see where they might strike. Nowhere just yet. A couple of Banshees still making their way down here. And just reactor after reactor after reactor in production from Clem. That means the factory starport and a barracks are all building a reactor at the moment. So 3 different kinds of reactors on the way. But you know what? At their core, they're all the same. Separating the production tab for no reason. Just seeing the Banshees into the middle of the map and just kind of chilling out here. Well, Widow Mine's on the way through, and yeah, I mean, Stimpack's about to be done, so when Stimpack gets completed, we can obviously see if Clem wants to apply some pressure with Marines, etc., see if he can find anything with that or not. Otherwise, this game will just be kind of a game of the Banshees for a little while. The Queen's getting over there, the Banshees get pushed off to the side. So far, so good. And Queen back up the left. Hellions back into the middle. Failing Nest is about to finish up. The lag coming through, the drone's on the way. Here comes a little bit of my Marine force actually through the middle of the map as well, so that's going to be brought over. So here it is, Stim's ready. We've actually got the Hellbats morphing now. Bane Speed just started up. How many Balins do we have? None. The first 3 are only just morphing, as there is the Banshees over here going to force the drones away. The Spore wasn't ready yet. Okay, at the same time, Clem is pushing in down on this bottom side. A lot of Bane's going to be done soon. Clem had to double Stim though. That means he's got a lot of HP missing on his Marines. Feels like he almost triple stimmed, actually. Definitely feels... No, it's just a double. It's a double without combat shields, right? That's what it is. That's why it looks a little bit different, because... I'm looking at him like, man, he's got such low HP, but yeah, it's just missing the combat shield. That's about to finish up, so these Marines will go into yellow health bars again. Yeah, that's what I was expecting to see originally. As we do continue through. Queen's just taking some damage, being pushed up this ramp, and... just going to be seeing a couple of Banes still wandering forward. Next on a Widowmine, Hydralisks are on the way out. As Clem is already stimming down over here, looking for a hatchery kill. Well, he's actually going to focus on a creep tumor for a moment, but he now will start on the hatchery. The Lings have stopped short. Going to continue now. It's half HP. Just going to stand and trade with the Lings, lift up the other way. We can come back for the hatchery later, says Clem. As he will attempt to come back here in just a little while. Now Marines and Hellbats coming through, and this group spread is going down once again. So cleaning out a whole bunch of the creep. A couple Widow Mines coming across down the bottom side. We move in. These Marines lift back up. And in we go. Just going to see the few Banelings still kind of wanting to make their way through. Widow Mines, definitely dangerous. 104 to 80 army supply at the moment in favor of Clem. 2-2 on the way against just 1-1. The Hydra should help to hold this off a little bit. Can Clem overwhelm? Let's find out. Obviously, the Hydra's not as affected by the Widow Mines as well, so there's something else to think about. Just leaving a few units here, protecting this hatchery. Needs to protect that hatchery, of course. As Clem finds a couple of Banelings initially in this direction, gets a couple more. Problem is, there's only 1 or 2 moving through at a time, and that's going to be kind of painful. The Overseer goes down. He ate a Widow Mine shot at least, so it did do some good for Reynor. I'm taking the 4th base behind this as the Banes come crashing through. The Marines load back into the medevacs, escaping away as now he's stimming on the left side. A Dropper Lord. I don't actually know what that was in the game for, what that was doing. As a Queen splits away to eat that Widow Mine shot as well. No harassment from Reynor across the map. No attacks as he sets up an infestation pit and he starts to think about the hive tech. So at the moment it feels like a long way off, but we are taking steps toward it. A couple Banes from the other side really do force Clem to lift up and back away. Clem will relocate a little bit as our few Marines continuing through. And they are going to aim for the bottom side as well, trying to figure out what exactly they can get done here. I'm loading back to the center of the map now. He's getting healed back up, and this is actually a huge army on the right side, so big change of pace actually, making so much go to the right. Widow Mines need to get pre-split, of course, as we now work our way through a little bit of the creep that's here. And Reynor will realize it's a bit of a larger army than he was originally kind of dealing with in this position. Banelings go down. We need some extra Banelings to show up. The Widow Mine's helping out with the units that are kind of running into this location. Attack on the left is completely shut down. Oh, somehow the medevac survives and is able to get away. The Banshee comes back in. It's going to die. Clem is getting rid of the Banelings. They're not able to connect. Just too much firepower. Doesn't even need to target them. Just able to kill them off as they come. That was a target fire, though. Cleans that one up with ease as we have only the 1 Marine got off here because of the Spore Crawler denying. And that 1 Marine will start to drop. Now Marines and medevacs going elsewhere, moving around and trying to make some further moves. Absolutely intense game at the moment between the two of them. Clem up 2-1, of course. Reynor cannot allow himself to be broken down here. Else he is going to be out of this finals, and he's going to lose it. This army here waiting to be jumped on. The army over on this side kind of fighting as well. Skirmishes all over the place. And that is kind of the strength of it all right now. You can see these few Marines lifting back up again. I do think Reynor has held. I mean, Clem has gone into Ghost as well, so he is transitioning for the later game. As these few medevacs in trouble, Clem isn't really paying much attention here. We'll save 2 of the 4, and he does save the Marines, though. Yeah, Clem's going into Ghost, ready for the the Lurker transition, out of Reynor, so at least he's going to be prepped for that. Oh, no! Did you see that Widow Mine? It just blew up the entire Marine force. What? The Overseer just major hit dead center on the Marines. Oh, talk about friendly fire. That is a game changer. Suddenly Clem loses so much supply all at once. Okay, we got to take a very quick rewind on this Widow Mine just as Clem types out GG and we go to a game 5. It can't be much further away than this, right? We just got to take a quick rewind. Can we go? No, my StarCraft's crashing. This Overseer, watch this Overseer, guys. Triple Overseer, Widow Mines. Oh my god, 20 supply of Clem just disappeared in an instant. Final map of this finals. It's 2-2. Reynor held and he held, and honestly I feel like we had a macro game stolen from our fingertips. As Clem's Widow Mines blew up his own army and it all fell apart so quickly, it all just unraveled in an instant. I really thought we had a real macro game on our hands, but Obviously denied by the Widow Mines. The Widow Mines they give, and the Widow Mines they take. They really do. Clem top left, Reynor bottom right. Need we say more to introduce these players? Absolutely not at this stage. I do not think so. Grab my cameraman. And go into a hatchery first. Curious Minds, small map, but has given us some long TVZs as well, to be fair. All the drones just coming through, and this Overlord coming to scout in. Eventually getting across, looking to pick up some information, get that going. Frank's about to finish up in the main base. Yeah, just off and away we go. As ICV escapes out down at the bottom. Let me get this properly underway for the moment. Reaper's about to pop, and I wonder if Clem does anything particularly different on this map. To me, if you've been playing Banshees in previous games, I think you continue to play Banshees on this map. It is the shorter rush distance map in the map pool, so, you know, it would make sense to then play the Banshees, which are the safer style. That would make a lot of sense, in fact. Maybe too much sense. I don't think you want gas 3cc. I really don't. Let's see. It's time to drop that second gas around now, if he wants to do it. So, kind of eye on the production tab while we've got the eye on the Reaper micro. Doesn't quite get that drone as the Spore Crawler goes down to protect it. Looks like we are just going to go 1 gas 3cc. So he is going to go 1 gas 3cc. In that case, I definitely think you go 1 gas 3cc into that Banshee and then get the cloak when the next 100 gas is done. 100% gotta believe that that's the way this is going to go. Gonna see our Reaper coming around, link speed coming up. Barracks is just building from Clem, and just gonna see the tech lab coming through initially. So it's gonna be a second rack, so he's gonna play a little bit of a 2-1-1 follow-up. Oh, that's kind of unique. You know, we've not seen that one in a while, to be fair. I can get behind that, because like I said, it's a little bit unique, a little bit different. I like it. I actually really do like it. Queen's coming around, and that Reaper does get shoved away. There's also a change up for Clem as well, right? So it's also him changing up the way that these games are going and putting a little bit of a different pace to Reynor right at the start of the game. And I think there's a lot to be said about that, right? There's a lot to be appreciative about that too. Aliens end up getting turned away against Impact, still just coming through. Our link speed's about to finish up. And a few queens just gonna be completing fairly soon as well. Reactor lifts off, and the Starport can take that reactor now. It's just going to be able to do that right away. It's obviously just a nice little typical move. It's going to get the medevacts on the way out, get these marine drops rolling. That's the plan at the moment here from Clem. Power up the marine drops and go, go, go. Reynor initially on his way to a lair. No Bane Nest just yet. I'm a little worried that this is just like Ling Queen initially. I mean, I guess Ling Queen initially is fine, but you would like to have the Bane Nest for the next little round of attack after, and there it is, okay. I was just starting to get worried and realized, like, Wardy, I don't want to stress you out, mate. Here's your Baneling Nest, this is what you want. You have at it. Perfect, thank you, Reynor. Combat Shield getting going. Marines will come in, kill off the Overlord. That's actually a supply block for Reynor. A bit of an awkward timing. We do scan. A couple of creep teamers being picked off already. Chasing through that Overlord, taking some hits. Queens trying to fight back. Counterattack comes in, but units are here to defend against that. So not too many issues on the defense. Not going to be distracted too heavily by Reynor's run-bys. He's really used those run-bys as such a great distraction technique all day long. Morphs a couple Banes, though, and maybe that could come in just at the right time. Distract Clem or just hit the mineral line and get a few SCVs early. And go the Banelings into this mineral line. SCVs gonna have to start pulling away. That's a fresh mule. I mean, that's something, right? I mean, a fresh mule is definitely better than nothing at all. So I think you take it, right? Not the end of the world on either side, though, really. 1-1 well on the way from Clem, of course, as we'll see him continue to rally out down this left-hand side. Wants to put a lot of pressure down onto this high ground fourth base. Reynor taking this fourth base. I assume because if he takes the right side, he doesn't want this high ground position to be taken by Clem in general. So Clem going to start fighting in here. He's going to find himself potentially a queen right away. Reynor just couldn't transfuse fast enough. Transfusions keep on going through this. Hatchery taking a lot of damage as well. I mean, how do you fight this when you don't have Baneling speed? It's going to be kind of the question, right? Reynor, oh my god! Well, Clem's just target fired down every single Baneling. Reynor just lost his lings. This Hatchery is dead. I mean, come on, guys. He just clicked down the Banelings. That's why playing later Baneling speed against Clem is just silly sometimes, right? It's like what do you do against a guy that can just click down your Banelings? I don't know. Have more Banelings, I suppose. It felt like that was a fair few Banelings. The tank as well going to come into this main base. We continue this attack. And Clem's already oh my god, he's going to kill the spawning pool. Is this game just falling apart already for Reynor? Oh, this is bad. He's also 1-1 against 0-0 as of right now, so the next couple moments of trading is going to be pretty darn good for Clem. He can't possibly pick up against this many, he can't possibly target fire this many Banelings, but he can, of course, pick up against them. The Queens are trying to jump on the medevacs here, but they're just going to sit in the corner and in the dead airspace, and Clem already has a 30 supply lead. Reynor can't actually build anything because he can't build that. He can just only build drones. He can only build drones. He has no other tech structure in the game. He can build drones, he can morph the lings that he has into Banelings. He's just dead. The spawning pool still is not done. Clem's next attack is arriving, and there's just no units over here, so all of these queens are going to go down. What an absolute stomp in this final game as Clem comes in, just makes a freaking statement. Jeez. GG's. I mean, just absolutely convincing. No doubt for a second about what was going on there, as Clem takes the 3-2 victory and takes down Reynor.